This is my bed with all of the blankets and stuff thrown onto the couch. And I made some changes earlier. I don't think I mentioned it in a video or anything, but the slats that were under here were basically made out of these same material here. It was plywood that actually used to be the roll-up door. And in the middle they were bowing, they were cracked, so I recently replaced them with these new slats. I didn't really secure them together, they're just bits of wood stuck in here, and that's been working out pretty decently actually. But one of the things that I've always kind of wanted, ever since I made this decision to put this back door in, was to be able to use it as a door. And obviously you can't. It's a real pain. You have to pull this whole mattress out, stand it up somewhere in this space here, take apart all the slats, take off the table, all of that. It becomes a real pain. And so today I had some sort of epiphanies at work about ways to make this work. And my first one involved a kind of a really fancy hinge that would let a portion of the mattress here fold up and kind of stack on top. Because the big problem is you have to hinge it down here, and then you have these two bits of foam trying to push into each other. So it would basically take a bit of foam here and end up with it doing that. Hello, Luna. Problem is, I don't have enough clearance to the ceiling for that to work. This is quite a wide gap in the doorway, and it would be nice to have this like whole gap clear. So I've actually kind of come up with I think an easier solution, and that is just to fold it from there. And I think it won't make a difference if you just make a cut here, or just be flipping this little bit left over. Hi, she really wants to play. I think simpler might be better. We have our lovely model Luna here, who is helping to add a little bit of appeal to the video. Otherwise it might be kind of dry. So basically there's two places I can cut this mattress. One is here and one is here. I may have to do both cuts. And there's two ways this mattress could fold. It could fold this way, or it could fold that way, right? If it folds this way, it's blocking off this area, access to this stuff, but that's not a big deal, because that stuff, this is clothes and stuff, as you can see, it's peeking out here. Blocks up this way. Now I'm blocking my window, light, that type of thing. So it's maybe a bit of a trade-off. Personally, I would prefer it to fold this way. Problem is, then there's definitely going to be a cut here right up kind of near my shoulders, and I feel like I will feel that when I'm sleeping. Whereas I might be able to get away with only having one cut and having the cut be here. In which case it's down near my legs and I don't care. But I'm going to go folding this way because this side here is less of a... I don't mind if stuff's folded up against this side. I think just aesthetically with the window and everything, it will look nicer having this bigger space clear. So I'm going to make the cut here when I do make the cut and plan to fold this way. Another potential downside of this is that I may lose this table. Now, there's nothing that says I can't have this table here. This is not actually a part of the bed. The slides that you can see under there are actually technically underneath of this whole bed system that I'm making. But if possible, I was thinking it might be better to make it maybe a little smaller and then mount it to the bottom of one of these boards that hinges up. This will become one solid set of boards. So it may not be detrimental. There's one other thing as well. It seems like there's a lot of things, but I just want to walk myself through this before I actually do anything. Right now, I have these slats, and between them, they line up with these slats here, right? And I still want on this side where they're going to hinge into, these need to come down on something solid. So they're going to come down onto a slat here. That's fine. Over here, though, I need to mount a hinge, and the best way for me to mount that hinge is sort of flat here. So it kind of makes sense to me, at least, to have maybe it would make more sense for the hinge to be like this. So I may shuffle these ones over. I'm not 100% sold on that, just because doing it this way means that hinge is having the weight of my body holding it up type deal. That can fail. Perhaps a better way would simply be to have a small amount of this one still here, move the hinge back slightly so that this is where the pivot point is. Just slightly, so at least a little bit of this weight is on this 2x2 here, and then just putting a small piece in over here to attach that hinge to. And I'm thinking that now that I've said it out loud, that makes more sense, just so that I'm distributing weight the best that I can. I've cut this thin little bit to 40 inches, which is a good height. It goes that way, and it kind of lands halfway between each of these 2x2s. Problem I found already is that it interferes with this. Yeah. So I'm gonna have to remove this and also trim it down. So as Luna is demonstrating, these slats are all now 40 inches long. They come, like I said, about halfway across these 2x2s, which is fine for what I'm doing here. So I need to now go into the store. I'm just parked at work in front of Home Depot here, and just grab 2 probably boards to go underneath here that will just like connect these up. She thinks this is a game. Fun. Basically, yeah, just to connect the slats to turn them into one big thing. And then also 2 or 3 hinges. I'm not thinking that all these slats need to have hinges, but maybe. Wow, I know no one's paying attention to you. There's power tools going on. It's so mean. Yes, maybe this is a dumb idea, but I'm pretty attached to having the table that comes out from under the bed, and I think I'm gonna go with that, having it slung underneath here and then still being able to pull out and going up with the whole thing idea. So I have a spare drawer slide that's the same size, that's a lot shorter, and it fits on one of these with some room on a 1x3 here. Might not fit with the table though. So I've just put the mattress topper pieces back on, and I'm basically going to create a super mattress by gluing it together. And then where those cuts are, I'll flip it over, and then I will cut through it kind of a second time. No matter what I do with this top part, it's probably going to be a bit of a mess, but yeah, that should work. Okay, so I've actually cut 2 of these to size, but I'm just using this scrap for demonstration purposes here. There's something I realized. I'm going to have these in a little bit. If I have them right against the wood here, you need a little bit of space just to facilitate that closing. Also, just to keep that wood away from, say, bumping on the mattress that will be up here. So I'll have to trim down my actual table when I get to it. But I'm going to go ahead and start assembling this piece here in the middle, and hopefully that'll give me a clear idea of what to do next. As you can see here, I'm busy just countersinking holes to connect all of these slats here to those connecting boards. This was surprisingly hard to assemble, but basically I have the 2 ones on the back and the front here as the sides all done, and now I'm basically able to line up all the other slats like this, find out exactly where to put them, and then just screw them right in. Okay, I'm just switching to another camera because my battery died, but I want to show you guys how I'm doing this. This side here is all screwed in with 1 screw on the same side of the slats. They're lined up as best as I can. This is the side with the hinge, so obviously I want it to be as even as possible. If there's any imperfections, it can be on this side where it doesn't matter as much. I'm now going to go and line up each of these slats so they fall as close to the middle of each one of these come on, you're photobombing, as I can. Put in 1, and then I will put all of the screws in so that it's one cohesive piece. Okay, so it's all finished. It's one solid piece, and if I just try and fold it up like this, it's definitely doable. Come back down. Oh, like that. Okay. So now I need to find out the way that I'm going to hinge this. I've installed 3 hinges in place. Just this little bit here is what I've used to basically make this hinge possible, and it's just 1 screw going through this into this 2x2 down below. So it works really well. Definitely the 3 hinges is completely adequate. I am just gonna demonstrate this. It's kind of hard to do on the camera, but it just goes up real easy. And right now it's just leaning against here. What I would like to do is probably put some sort of latch system so that it will say like stay up there, which would probably be even better. And it comes down and these actually all line up. I was a little worried because some of them are a little bit like they're close, like the gap here, but they all seem to work fine every time. So I've just put my mattress on top, and this is what my mattress consists of. This green mattress down here came with the van when I first bought it. It's not very good. I've never liked it. It's been fine. This topper is part of a Tempur-Pedic mattress that my brother actually has in his mini utility trailer home, but it was too thick at 10 inches, so he cut this off the top, and I had a thin mattress topper that I swapped out for him. So it's kind of in pieces, but basically I'm gonna have to turn this into 2 mattresses, and I've held off on, say, like re-gluing these pieces back together just because I knew that I might do this sort of thing with the bed down the road, and I didn't want to start cutting things up. I'm gonna start with just the green mattress because that will probably just make my life easier. I really don't know what to call this thing, but this middle part here, this is where it contacts. Now I could cut the foam right here, but I think that could actually cause problems when I'm swinging this down. There's this bit of foam here. I'm going to cut it like 1/2 inch over, and I think that that will make a big difference when it comes to just actually using the hinge mechanism for the bed. Luna, where's the line, Luna? Where do I have to cut the mattress? Right there? Is that right? On that line there? I think so. Okay, so I've cut my mattress in half, and I used a bread knife. Now, the best thing you can use is a hot knife, followed by like a serrated carving knife, but this is what I have, and that's a fairly clean edge. I'm okay with that. Now, the trick to making this look good is actually flipping everything around, so not lining up the cuts. So this will go like that, and this edge here will go against the toe of the bed. There is some sad, sad news. This doesn't work. I'll show you the problem. Grab this, and even if the mattress doesn't hit the door frame, it will still hit the roll-up door or the roof, and that's because we're wasting space in this bend, and I kind of figured that might happen. Unfortunately, the only option now is to cut the mattress further down this part here. Okay, so I've made that cut. This one's quite a bit cleaner. I found that it really helps if you only go really slowly and only really cut when you're pulling up. That's what I found. So I'm going to assemble this and see if it works any better. Unfortunately, it's not going to be a super smooth motion. This is sort of my backup plan. You need to do 2 things. One is do that. Second is, sorry Luna, no, don't do it to me. Good girl. Is do that. This works. I just have there we go. Boom. Mattress out of the way. Kind of hard to do with one hand, but basically, yeah, you just fold that one up there, and then this whole area you can now walk through, but I have stuff. So basically, yeah, that'll be the next part of the plan. Will be basically rearranging stuff down here, so I don't need as much space for things. Don't really know how that'll go, but yeah, we'll find out, won't we, girl? Of course, I don't actually have a mattress cover that will fit something like this, so I'm gonna probably have to do a sewing project soon, but this works. So let's take it down. Down you come, like that. It's kind of hard to show you while I'm holding the camera, but boom. One fully done bed. So I've just put the mattress topper pieces back on, and I'm basically going to create a super mattress by gluing it together. And then where those cuts are, I'll flip it over, and then I will cut through it kind of a second time. No matter what I do with this top part, it's probably going to be a bit of a mess, but yeah, that should work. And yet another thing has been realized with the addition of the foam topper. This part needs to be placed up on top of that shelf at the back, otherwise this won't actually fit. Yeah, see that foam there is a little bit cut wrong, but that's okay. The issue is actually that foam mattress, I think, brushing up against the top here, it's cut a little longer for some reason, because you can actually close this, you see, like this. So I'm hoping that if I put a pretty aggressive fitted sheet over that, it won't have that problem. So I'm thinking this table, maybe I'm going to replace it. I still want a table where it is, but there's a couple things I don't like about this table. Namely the table surface. It got all banged up with the way it was originally, and it's pretty marred. This edging here, that it just looks bad. It's a bad idea. This handle's really loose. Yeah, I'm thinking that this is going to be replaced. I need to cut it down anyway, and it would be kind of a pain to cut down the way it is. So we'll see. This is the table with the horrible trim and everything removed. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint this. That way I don't need to change anything. This is perfectly good piece of wood. It's just ugly. So that's what I'm going to do. This needs to be 36 inches. It's currently 38 and a half, so I'll be losing 2.5 inches, but that's nothing. This is a huge table. And then I'm just going to cut off this bit here, so it'll be slightly less deep, but yeah, like I can't really save this. Okay, so it's pretty hard, but I actually got both these slides in. This one was super easy because it's, gravity is being helpful. That one, not so much. Yeah, but these work. The gap should be the right size with a little room to spare. So there we go. So I am going to bring in the tabletop. I've trimmed it down and we'll give it a try. Okay, so it fits in here perfectly. I just need to attach it down to these slides here. And I'm going to, instead of using brackets like I did before, I'm actually going to do surface countersunk screws. There's a reason for that, and that's because it'll look really bad from underside when it's flipped up with the brackets, and I really don't mind the look of the countersunk screws. The GoPro is back working, so you can see more of what I'm trying to show you here. Let me just pull this out. The table slides out like that. It comes actually right to the edge there, so that kind of worked out perfectly. I just sort of guessed how wide I wanted it to be. Hey, it works out really nicely. So it comes back under there. Now, one thing I have not tried. Oh, okay, don't grab it by that bit, but yeah, that still works. Okay, it's added a bit of weight, but it actually looks quite nice. I'm just gonna I don't like that. But there it goes, like that. Yeah, so there's definitely, oh boy, that's heavy. Okay, and that doesn't even have the mattress on it. Yeah, it definitely needs to have a handle on this, and then something that you can pull on under here to pull out. So I think like a handle like right here type deal would be good up the front here, just because otherwise you're going to accidentally pull this out like that. At the back it doesn't matter, but at the front some sort of handle on here, and then yeah, some sort of grip to pull the table out would be fantastic. Okay, so I've solved the first problem here. I've put this trim here. I think this looks really awesome, and then right where my hand is here underneath, I've actually recycled part of what there used to be a handle underneath here, this bit here, so that you're actually pulling on that and not the thin bit of delicate trim. So as long as you grab it in the middle, there's no risk of that at all. So it goes right up against this part here. I think it looks pretty good. I mean, obviously, this is still pretty nasty, but like I said, my plan is that I will be painting this whole thing. Alright, so the other thing that I've added on is this little handle here, and basically it just bolts straight through this here. So it's a bit like you see, you lift this one up and it does kind of fold a little bit, but it does really help you do that. And obviously when you're doing this, the table isn't trying to pull out on you. The one thing that doesn't appear to have worked at all is the spray foam holding this down. It worked a little bit on these two bits, but this big bit here in the middle, just like not at all. So I'm sure there's a product I can buy or something that will work just for that. However, I'm in no rush to do that. I think I'll try and see if a custom fitted sheet will just hold it together. Okay, so I'm going to test this out just to make sure everything's working. This foam topper is too long. I think it's slightly longer than the actual size of the mattress that I have, and that's causing me problems. It's hitting the top and kind of tearing a little bit. So hi Luna, we'll just try it as is. So imagine that I've already moved this down, grab this, up she goes, and then this is a little bit too tall at the moment. There we go. And you know what, there's one more thing I want to add, and that's a latch that will just attach it so it can stay up and really not be in the way. Okay, so I've added in this little latch here. It just goes into a hole I drilled like that. So you can now leave this up. It's in a vertical position. I can always move it over if I want, but this seems to be pretty good. This is all I'm going to do today because it's kind of getting dark. I've been parked in my work parking lot for way too long when I'm not actually working. And yeah, that hopefully I'll be able to clean up some of this stuff and do some more work on this. But for now, this is done. Oh, there's one more thing I didn't show you. I've actually added in this latch here so that this door can act as one door. Another thing I'll probably end up doing is putting a proper door latch on that at some point so it can be used more like a proper door. But for now, this is pretty good. So let's just kind of release that, bring it down like that. We have this, and this can pull out all the way like that. I now have my table, push it back in. So it's pretty much exactly what I had before, only better, which is awesome. That's exactly what I want. Yeah, I mean, I just got to do some more stuff and it will be perfect. That's all I'm going to do tonight. I'm tired. The fan is a mess. I want to put some stuff back together, but I'm actually really excited to keep working on this project, to see what it looks like after it's been painted and all that stuff. But I'm really happy. And so guys, let me know what you think about this solution. Is it better? Is it too complicated? Anything I could do to improve it, let me know, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers, folks.